My brothers and my sisters, pause for a moment and reflect. Every single day, whether we realize it or not, we are standing in need. Not occasionally, not sometimes, but constantly. We are in need of guidance. We are in need of protection. We are in need of strength. We are in need of mercy. And above all, we are in need of Allah. The most powerful words a believer can ever say are simple words, words that we repeat again and again in our daily prayers, words that form the heart of our connection with our Creator. In every unit of prayer, we recite the opening chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Fatiha, and within it lies the most important request a human being can make: guide us to the straight path. Think about that. Out of everything we could ask for, wealth, health, success, status, comfort, the first and most repeated request is guidance. Not money, not power, not influence, guidance. This shows us something profound. It shows us that the greatest blessing in existence is not material. It is not visible. It is not something you can hold in your hand. It is the ability to know your Lord and to walk the path that leads to Him. When a person sincerely asks Allah for guidance, truly from the heart, Allah does not abandon them. Allah does not ignore them. Allah does not turn them away. The one who created you knows what you are searching for, even before you articulate it. But He loves to hear you ask. He loves to hear you say, "Oh Allah, guide me." Because when you ask for guidance, sincerely, you are admitting something very important. You are admitting that you do not know everything. You are admitting that you can be mistaken. You are admitting that without divine direction, you can lose your way. And this humility, this recognition is beloved to Allah. Understand something carefully. Guidance itself is a gift. If today you worship Allah alone, if today your heart recognizes its Creator, if today you bow your head in prayer, that is not because of your intelligence. That is not because of your strength. That is because Allah favored you. He chose to guide you. He placed light in your heart. He allowed you to recognize Him. And that is something many people are still searching for. We often assume guidance is something small, but in reality, it is everything. Without guidance, knowledge becomes arrogance. Without guidance, wealth becomes corruption. Without guidance, power becomes oppression. Without guidance, even good intentions can lead to the wrong destination. So when we ask for the straight path, we are asking for stability in a world full of confusion. We are asking for clarity in a world full of noise. We are asking for certainty in a world full of doubt. And notice something else in that same chapter. Before we ask for guidance, we declare, "You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help." This is the foundation. We are declaring that our help comes from one source, one ultimate source, Allah. This is where many people struggle. Because when hardship comes, the human being searches for something to lean on. If faith is weak, the person leans on complaints. They blame the government, they blame society, they blame family, they blame their circumstances, they blame family, they blame their circumstances, they blame destiny itself. But the believer processes pain differently. The believer feels the pain, yes. The believer struggles, yes. The believer may even cry, yes. But the believer turns toward Allah first. That is the difference. Everyone experiences difficulty. The wealthy experience it. The poor experience it. The young experience it. The elderly experience it. No soul is exempt. Life was never meant to be free of tests, but how we respond to those tests determines everything. If you have strong faith, hardship does not destroy you. It refines you. It pushes you closer to Allah. It forces you to raise your hands. It forces you to remember what you may have forgotten during ease. Ask yourself honestly, when everything is going smoothly, when the income is stable, when health is good, when family life feels secure, how often do we truly call upon Allah with desperation? But when something shakes us, when fear enters our hearts, When uncertainty clouds our minds, suddenly our hands rise. Suddenly our voices tremble in dua. Suddenly we remember that we are weak. This is not coincidence. Allah created within us needs. He designed us to be dependent. He made us fragile so that we would return to Him. If life were always comfortable, many hearts would drift away. If there were no hardship, many tongues would forget to make dua. Sometimes the difficulty you are facing is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It may be a sign that He wants you to come back. He wants to hear your voice. He wants you to say His name. He wants you to admit your need. And when you raise your hands and say, "Oh Allah, I cannot do this without you," that moment is beloved to Him. Understand this carefully. Allah does not create difficulty because He enjoys seeing you struggle. He creates it because He knows what it will produce in you: strength, humility, dependence, trust. There is something powerful about turning to Allah before turning to anyone else. Many people treat Allah as a last option. They try every door first. They exhaust every human solution first. And only when nothing remains do they say, maybe I should pray. But what if we reverse that tidy? What if Allah became our first call, not our last resort? Imagine beginning every challenge with dua before the meeting, before the exam, before the conversation, before the medical appointment, before the decision. Oh Allah, guide me. Oh Allah, make it easy. Oh Allah, protect me. This is not weakness. This is intelligence, because you are acknowledging who truly controls outcomes. Does this mean we ignore practical steps? No. Islam is a religion of balance. If someone can physically help you with something within their ability, there is nothing wrong with asking. If a person can carry your bags, you may ask them. If a doctor has knowledge, you may consult them. If a teacher has expertise, you may learn from them. But never forget who gave them that strength, that knowledge, that skill. Allah did the muscles in their arms, the clarity in their minds, the willingness in their hearts, all from Allah. So even when you benefit from creation, you are still benefiting from the Creator. The line is crossed when a person begins asking creation for what only the Creator can give. When someone asks a human being to control destiny, when someone asks a human being to forgive sins, when someone asks a human being to change the unseen, that belongs to Allah alone. And here is something profound to think about. Allah created you from nothing. Before your existence, there was no memory of you, no name, no identity, nothing. Then Allah willed, and you existed. Stage by stage you developed, protected in the womb, nourished without effort, sustained without awareness. Who was feeding you? Who was shielding you? Who was sustaining you when you had no strength of your own? Allah. And even now, as you breathe, you are not commanding your lungs manually. Your heart beats without your instruction. Your cells regenerate without your permission, total dependence, total reliance. So when we make dua, we are not informing Allah of something He does not know. We are expressing our dependence on the one who already knows. Some people ask, if Allah already knows what will happen, what is the point of making dua? The point is that you do not know, and Allah loves that you turn to Him despite not knowing. Your dua is part of your journey. It is part of your test. It is part of what shapes your outcome. When you ask Allah sincerely, one of three things happens. Either He gives you exactly what you asked for, or He gives you something better, or He protects you from something harmful that you never even saw coming. Sometimes what you wanted was not good for you, but because your vision is limited, you could not see the danger. Allah saw it, so He withheld it out of mercy. Sometimes the answer is delayed because the timing is not right. But sometimes the reward is stored for the hereafter, greater than anything you imagined. And sometimes a disaster is removed from your path without you ever realizing it was approaching. So never assume your dua was ignored. Delay is not rejection. Silence is not abandonment. Allah hears every whisper, especially in Ramadan, the month of mercy, the month of forgiveness, the month when the gates of paradise are opened and the devils are restrained. Your dua carries even more weight. Ramadan is not just about hunger and thirst. It is about reconnecting. It is about cleansing the heart. It is about reconnecting to Allah with sincerity. And during fasting, especially in the final moments before breaking the fast, there is a powerful opportunity, a moment when your heart is soft, when your body feels its need, when your dependence becomes clear. In those moments, do not let your mind be distracted by the food in front of you. Raise your hands, ask. You need to whisper if you need to. Speak in whatever language your heart understands. You do not need complicated phrases. You do not need eloquence. You need sincerity. Even the greatest of creation, Muhammad, who was promised paradise, used to raise his hands and make dua intensely. He would humble himself. He would humble himself completely before Allah. If he, with his status, turned to Allah constantly, then what about us? We fall short daily. We make mistakes daily. We forget daily. But the door of Allah remains open. The question is whether we are calling, and whether we are calling with hearts that truly understand their need. And when you truly begin to understand your need, your entire relationship with dua changes. It is no longer a rushed request. It is no longer a habit of the tongue. It becomes a conversation of the soul. Many of us reduce dua to a list. We stand, we raise our hands, and we begin asking for what we want. Oh Allah, give me this. Oh Allah, fix that. Oh Allah, remove this problem. And there is nothing wrong with asking. In fact, Allah loves that you ask. He is Al-Ghani, the self-sufficient, and we are the needy. But there is a deeper level. Before you ask for what you want, pause and thank Him for what you already have. Gratitude softens the heart. Gratitude changes perspective. Gratitude reminds you that even while you are struggling, you are still surrounded by blessings. The ability to breathe, the ability to see, the ability to walk, the ability to pray, the family that checks on you, the roof over your head, the food that reaches your table. These are not small things. They are enormous favors. Yet we often only recognize their value when they are taken away. So before asking Allah to increase you, thank Him for what He has already given. Say, oh Allah, do not take away what you have blessed me with. Say, oh Allah, allow me to appreciate what I have before I lose it. Because appreciation protects blessings, then ask for yourself, ask for guidance, ask for forgiveness, ask for protection from sins you see and sins you do not see. Ask for a heart that is alive. Ask for sincerity. Ask for strength to obey Him when obedience feels heavy. Ask for distance from that which pulls you away from Him. And after you have asked for yourself, expand your dua. Do not let it end with you. One of the signs of a narrow heart is that it only prays for its own comfort. But a believer's heart is wider than that. Pray for your parents. Pray for your children. Pray for your friends. Pray for those who have hurt you. Pray for those who are lost. Pray for those who are lost. Pray for the ummah. Pray for humanity. Guidance is not something you should want only for yourself. If you truly understand its value, you will want it for everyone. There is something powerful about praying for others. When you make dua for someone in their absence, angels say, and for you the same, imagine that. While you are praying for someone else's success, someone else's healing, someone else's forgiveness, the angels are praying for you. That is a gift many of us overlook, and reflect on this carefully. The Prophet Muhammad prayed even for those who harmed him, those who mocked him, those who drove him from his home, those who plotted against him. He did not respond to hatred with hatred. He responded with dua. He asked Allah to guide them, and many of them eventually became amongst the strongest believers. What changed them? The mercy of Allah. And part of that mercy was unlocked through sincere dawah. So who are we to limit our prayers? If someone wrongs you, yes, it hurts. Yes, it may take time to heal. But imagine you raising your hands and saying, "Oh Allah, will guide them. Oh Allah, soften their heart." That dawah does not make you weak. It makes you elevated. True humility is not what you display in front of people. It is not lowering your head when someone is watching. It is not speaking softly to appear righteous. True humility is what happens when you are alone and no one sees you. It is when you recognize deep inside that without Allah, you are nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not your intelligence. Not your intelligence. Not your achievements. Not your achievements. Everything you have is from Him, and everything can be taken by Him. When that realization settles in your heart, dua changes. It becomes softer. It becomes more sincere. It becomes less demanding and more pleading. You no longer speak to Allah as if you deserve something. You speak to Him as a servant who is desperate. And desperation in dua is not weakness, it is strength. Another beautiful practice of the righteous before us was that they would perform a good deed before making a significant dua. They would give charity, they would pray extra units of prayer, they would fast, they would do something purely for Allah, then raise their hands. Why a debi? Because when you come to Allah having just obeyed Him, your heart is more present. You feel closer, you feel connected, you feel that you have approached Him with sincerity. And Allah loves effort. He loves to see you trying. Outside of Ramadan, there are special opportunities as well. Fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, fasting on the white days, the 13th, 14th, and 15th of the lunar month. These are not ordinary days. They are elevated days, honored days. And during fasting, especially near the time of breaking the fast, there is a powerful moment, a moment when the body feels its need, a moment when the ego is quieter, a moment when the ego is quieter, a moment when the ego is quieter, the heart is softer. In that moment, your dua carries weight. Do not waste those final minutes before iftar scrolling on your phone. Do not let your mind be consumed by what is on the table. Lift your hands. Speak to Allah. Lift your hands, speak to Allah, be present. Raise your hands with submission. There is something symbolic about raising your hands. It is a posture of need. It is a posture of surrender. It is a posture of hope. The Messenger of Allah would sometimes raise his hands so high that the companions could see the whiteness under his arms. That intensity was not for show. It was genuine dependence. He cried and died. He asked for forgiveness repeatedly. He sought protection constantly, and he was the most beloved of Allah's creation. If he needed to ask, then how much more do we need to ask? Then how much more do we need to ask? Do not allow days to pass without sincere dua. Life is moving quickly. Every day that passes is a day you will never retrieve. If days are passing without connection to Allah, without raising your hands, without whispering your fears and hopes to Him, then what are we prioritizing? We are dependent on Him for every breath, every heartbeat, every safe journey, every meal, every success. Everything traces back to Him. Nothing happens unless He wills it. No one can harm you unless He allows it. No one can benefit you unless He writes it. Once that belief becomes firm, fear decreases, anxiety decreases, Because you know outcomes are not controlled by people, they are controlled by Allah. This does not mean you stop planning. It does not mean you stop working. It means you understand that planning without dawah is incomplete. Effort without reliance is incomplete. Take the means, yes, but attach your heart to Allah, not the means. Consider a practical example. You are ill. You visit a doctor. Before leaving your home, you say, "Oh Allah, grant me shifa." Guide the doctor. Let the diagnosis be correct. You take the means by going, you consult, you follow instructions, but throughout the process, your heart remains attached to Allah. When the diagnosis is accurate, you thank Allah. When the treatment works, you thank Allah. When recovery comes, you thank Allah. Because you understand that knowledge was given by Allah, skill was given by Allah. Healing itself comes only from Allah. This balance is the path of a believer. And sometimes, even after making dua repeatedly, you do not see the result you hoped for. That is where patience enters. Do not give up. Shaitan whispers, "It's not working, your dua isn't being accepted." But acceptance does not always look the way you expect. Sometimes Allah gives immediately. Sometimes He delays to build your patience. Sometimes He withholds to protect you. Sometimes He replaces. Sometimes He stores the reward for the next life. And sometimes He removes a disaster that you never even knew was approaching. Imagine on the day of judgment seeing mountains of reward placed on your scale, and you ask, "Oh Allah, what is this?" And it is said to you, "These are the du'as you made that were not answered the way you wanted in the world." In that moment, you might wish none of your worldly requests had been fulfilled, because what is waiting is far greater. Trust in Allah is not blind optimism. It is certainty that whatever He chooses is wiser than what you choose. You see a moment. He sees the entire timeline. You see the surface. He sees the unseen. So keep calling upon Him in ease and in hardship, in private and in public, with raised hands and with silent tears. Let your hope be directed to Him. Let your fear be directed to Him. Let your fear be directed to Him. Let your reliance be directed to Him. Because at the end of every plan, every effort, every dream, it is His will that prevails. And when you understand, and that everything returns to His will, your heart begins to rest, not because life becomes easy, but because your trust becomes stronger. There is something deeply stabilizing about knowing that nothing in your life is random. Nothing escapes His knowledge, not a tear, not a silent fear, not a whispered dua in the darkness of the night. Sometimes a person says, "I have been making dua for so long. Why hasn't anything changed?" But perhaps something has changed. Perhaps you have changed. Perhaps your patience has grown. Perhaps your dependence has deepened. Perhaps your sins have been erased through your tears. Perhaps your rank has been elevated without you realizing it. We often measure acceptance only through visible results. But Allah's response to dua is not limited to what we can see. Remember this carefully. Allah is not a machine that responds instantly to input. He is Al-Hakim, the most wise. His timing is precise. His wisdom is perfect. His knowledge surrounds what was, what is, and what will be. When you make dua, you are not informing Him. You are demonstrating servitude. And servitude is the highest honor of a believer. The fact that Allah allows you to raise your hands is itself a gift. The fact that your heart feels the urge to call upon Him is a sign that He wants good for you. Many people live their entire lives without ever sincerely turning to their Creator. If your heart still feels something when you say, "Oh Allah," then you are blessed. Guard that blessing. There is another subtle danger we must be aware of. Sometimes when our du'as are answered quickly, we become comfortable. And comfort can lead to forgetfulness. We prayed intensely during hardship, then relief came, and slowly the intensity faded. Do not let ease erase your connection. The believer calls upon Allah in ease just as he calls upon Him in hardship. In fact, the one who remembers Allah during times of comfort finds Allah's help closer during times of difficulty. Build your relationship with Allah before the storm comes, so that when the storm arrives, your anchor is already firm. You will fall short. You will sin. You will make mistakes. That is part of being human. But do not let your mistakes silence your dua. Some people stop calling upon Allah because they feel ashamed. They think, after what I've done, how can I ask? But who placed that shame in your heart? It is Allah who gave you the awareness, and the one who makes you aware of your mistake is the one inviting you back. Allah's mercy is not limited. Your sins, no matter how large, are not larger than His forgiveness. So return again and again. Each time you fall, stand back up. Each time you slip, raise your hands. Each time you feel distant, whisper His name. There is no door you can knock on more consistently than the door of Allah, and it never closes. Reflect also on this reality. No one can harm you unless Allah allows it. This belief frees you from excessive fear of people. It frees you from placing your hope in human approval. It frees you from desperation for validation. When you know that your sustenance is written, you work, but you do not panic. When you know that your lifespan is written, you live, but you do not obsess. When you know that your trials are written with wisdom, you endure, but you do not collapse. This is tawakkul, not abandoning effort, not becoming passive, but placing your heart entirely in Allah while your body continues striving. Some people think that if Allah has already written everything, then what is the point of trying? What is the point of making du'adakats? The answer is simple. You do not know what has been written, and your effort is part of what has been written. Your dua may be the very reason something changes. Your patience may be the very reason something is removed. Your persistence may be the very reason a door opens. If you stop, you lose the opportunity that could have been yours. So do not stop. Continue seeking guidance above all else, because guidance is not a one-time gift, it is a continuous need. Every day you need clarity. Every day you need protection from misguidance. Every day you need strength to resist temptation. Say often, "Oh Allah, keep my heart firm." Heights can change, situations can change, iman can fluctuate. So ask for stability. Ask for a heart that remains connected. Ask for a tongue that remembers Him. Ask for eyes that lower from what displeases Him. Ask for ears that avoid what corrupts the soul. Ask for a life that leads to Him. And when you raise your hands, raise them with presence, not distracted, not rushed. Speak slowly. Reflect on what you are saying. Feel your need. Imagine standing before the one who created you from nothing, the one who sustained you in the womb, the one who protected you in childhood, the one who forgave you countless times without exposing you, the one who continues to give even when you forget to thank Him. How can you not call upon Him? Dua is not only about asking for things. It is about strengthening your relationship. It is about recognizing your place as a servant. It is about surrender, and surrender brings peace. There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed, moments when your chest feels tight, moments when the future feels uncertain. In those moments, do not let your mind spiral into fear. Pause. Take a breath. Raise your hands. Even if the words are simple, "Oh Allah, I trust you. Oh Allah, guide me. Oh Allah, make it easy." Those simple words carry immense weight when they come from a sincere heart. Remember that Allah is closer to you than you realize. He knows what you cannot express. He understands what you cannot put into words. Even your silence is heard. So keep knocking on his door. Keep returning. Keep asking, whether the answer comes immediately or later, whether it comes in the form you expect or in a form you never imagined. Trust that it comes with wisdom. Trust that it comes with mercy. Trust that it comes with love. Allow you as his servant. And let your life revolve around this central truth. Begin with Allah. Continue with Allah. End with Allah. Let your hope be in him before anything else. Let your fear be of displeasing him before anything else. Let your reliance be on him before any plan. Because at the end of every road, every effort, every ambition, it is his mercy and his guidance that will matter most.